Real Love Tech on the road again to work. Today we are going to talk about the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Don't forget the Pro Max. Your fancy pants if you have the Pro Max. Yeah, this is sort of like an 18-month later conversation. I've had it for 18 months, roughly. And I want to give you my thoughts, the highs, the lows, and that's about it really. There's not really many lows. Come out, it was so much different. Well, I say so much different. There was a lot of difference from my 12. Obviously, it had the aluminium frame, which is nice. You did notice the actual weight difference a hell of a lot. And you know, I think it's a nice material. It was all smoothed off edges. It wasn't so sharp. And I think that makes a big difference when you're handling a phone. But you know, nowadays most people have cases. Obviously, unless you're a rich YouTuber or millionaire, then you can rock out a case and drop it, and there's no problems. Just buy another one. But we're not those people. We have cases, and you know, when I first bought it, I treated myself to an Apple leather case, and was it leather? No, silicon. Apple silicon. Yeah, and it lasted about a year. That's about it. Because you obviously drop it or bang it and stuff like that, like the chunks of the silicon just come out, and you just exposed hard plastic, and which is disappointing because it was a great case. I did love that case because it was very thin, but it protected everything what you needed to do, but the durability of it was terrible, especially when it cost you like 45 quid and it only lasts you a year. And I bought a cheap one off Amazon for tenner, and it's lasted the rest of the time. It says a lot really, but yeah, that's another conversation. But going back to the iPhone Pro Max, you've got the action button. Don't really use the action button. I've mapped it to Blackmagic camera app, which is quite handy. But like I say, it's never been a big thing for me, but maybe later on in the future I might use it a bit more, but I don't know. You know, you get so used to where everything is, and you just go into it, open it up, done. Sometimes you forget some things are there unless you force yourself to remember, but like I say, I have used it a little bit. It's not a game changer, I don't think. Some people disagree, but that's why we all have different opinions. 120 hertz, that was a massive thing coming from the iPhone 12. When I had the iPhone 12 and I was like, what's all this fuss about the 120 hertz? I never really saw the difference. I was like, yeah, it's a nice feature, I suppose. But I mean, I don't really notice it that much when I've seen it. But when you have a device for so long, you have to have it for at least 3 or 4 months to have it, and then go back to a 60 hertz to screen to notice it. It makes the phone a bit snappier. And 18 months later, is it still quick? Yeah, I think so. I mean, it does everything I need it to do. Cameras. Ultra wide, okay. Quite terrible in low light. Obviously, it got updated in the 16, I think. Which, you know, could be updated again. I think the cameras, the resolution could be better. I don't know, somehow I think they should try and up the sensor size a little bit so you can get some more light in there. So it does look good, but I mean, obviously it's quite difficult in such a small device, I suppose. But overall, I think the cameras are great. I mean, mine's okay. I don't use it very much because usually you just get loads of like grain, and the image is a little bit soft, a little bit like over smoothed. The main camera is the best camera to use if you can. If you need ultra wide, just move back, I would say. But in a pinch, use the ultra wide. Telephoto. The photo is good, but I don't know if the 3x, what was on the older cameras, I don't know, they seem more detailed than the 5x, but I might be wrong. I mean, it seems alright now. I don't know if it was more of a starting issue, and I don't use the 5x that much, but when do. Sometimes you do get a nice image, but then sometimes you can capture a bit of a grainy image. But you have to keep it on the 5x. You go past the 5x or under the 5x, it can be a bit grainy, which is weird. But you have to specifically hit 5x to sort of get the best picture. But overall, I think the camera is very good. I think it's, you know, if you're looking for a new phone, if you're coming from, I don't know, 11, 12, 13, maybe 14, I think this is a great upgrade. I think the 16, you wouldn't notice any difference from the 16 to the 15. Video, I think video is the best on iPhone. I don't think any camera or phone camera can beat it. Not for now. Like I said, I had a Pixel 7. That was terrible. That was just all not pixelated, but you know, you can just try. It was just trying to buffer all the time when you try to play it back. It wasn't clear. You could just tell it's phone footage, and you couldn't color grade it or anything like that. It just fall apart. Yeah, it just wasn't good. But in the 15, started with the 15. Obviously, it's in the 16 now. Only in the Pros is log footage or log recording, which is sort of a flat profile. Basically like a raw photo, but like a raw video format, where you can sort of pull the colours and manipulate it a little bit before it falls apart. You can slap a colour grade over it, which looks fantastic. I think you make sure, but you need enough light. You can't need a ND filter, which is sort of sunglasses for your camera to then help with exposure. The average person, no one's going to really know that unless you know about cameras. But I mean, obviously, if you know about cameras, you know about this, so I don't really need to explain it, if that makes sense. I've got the new update. I've got liquid glass. That's another video to come. I'll talk about that another time. I won't talk about it now because this video will be too long. Battery life. Obviously, when you get a new phone, battery life is always fantastic when you first start. I think it's still got great battery life. I mean, if I do charge a couple of times in the daytime, but that's not due to needing to. It's more like plugging into the car to have CarPlay, and it automatically charges my phone a little bit. So I usually start the day with 100%, and then time I finish, yeah, I'm usually at around about maybe 30. It's an all-day phone, but if you don't use it very often, then it will last longer. Mine probably drains a little bit more because I've got the iOS 26 beta on my phone, which, you know, they say you shouldn't do, but I like to mess about with new things. A bit of a geek. It's a great port. I do a lot of video and photos on my phone, and I just transfer them to a T7 drive, and that just makes the situation a lot quicker and seamless. All your other devices, if you're a bit of a techie person, you're going to have other USB cables around. Not all USB-C cables are the same. Like I say, some are for data, some are for charging, some are slower. You'll get fast charging ones, slower ones, and vice versa. So do your due diligence. I suppose Apple Intelligence. That's it for Apple Intelligence, because that's about it. There's not really much to talk about. We've got a couple of bits, but I don't use it very often. Usually my Apple Intelligence turns into ChatGPT to ask that questions, because that will give me, that's more knowledgeable than what Apple's providing at this current time. So final thoughts of the iPhone 15. I think if you're looking for a new phone and you're coming from older ones, I think this is a great little upgrade, especially if you've got the standard iPhone. I think you get the extra camera, like I said, 120 hertz, sort of top of the food chain, where like it can't really get much better. Like for your money wise, to buy this and then buy the 17, like you're getting pretty much the same phone minus a couple of little bits, like the camera control button last year. I just don't see the point of that, to be honest. And every person I've seen or seen a review of, everyone's like, it's a bit pointless. You can do everything in the app. You can set the action button up to press the camera if you really want to. I'd like to compare this to the S25 Ultra, so I might try and get my hands on that at some point. So comparison video, or just do the review on that phone, and then we'll just sort of reference back to this video. But we'll see. But if that's something you're interested in, like this video, subscribe, because it's a brand new channel. I'm trying something different. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.